Welcome to Marketplace with Charles, brought to you by Art of Skincare. Art of Skincare, the company that brings out the beauty in you, as well as Kuwisa Lodge, situated at the heart of Mabalingwe Nature Reserve. If tranquility is what you're looking for, then Kuwisa Lodge is the place to be, where you sleep, dream, wake up with a big five surrounding you. All you hear at night and early morning is the sounds of hummingbirds. What an experience. You don't want to miss such. On Marketplace, we empower and equip you with the tools that you need to achieve your entrepreneurial dreams. Each week, we bring you insight from experts in different fields of business, from men and women of faith. Today, we meet a coach in personal development, leadership, spirituality, and in business. He is also a businessman of note and an author, Mr. Onkarabile Mokoto. We live in a society where people want to find it all prepared for them and find it ready in a silver platter. One of the most important skills in this life is being able to make lemonade out of the lemons that life dishes out to you, instead of wallowing in a pool of complaints. We are the complaining nation, and all we are good at sometimes is toy-toying. And there are times where it works, but there are times when we don't have to. We need to stand up our grounds and be who God created us to be. The story that stands out high in a typical African child is that of failure and lack, which has for the most part bred untold social ills because of most people don't see opportunities from the threats that they encounter. For every threat, there is an opportunity. Onkarabile, welcome to Marketplace with Charles.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for the viewers for watching the show.
And I hope you are going to help me unpack this topic today.
Definitely, sir.
You are a coach in different fields.
Yes.
Tell me, your business.
Okay.
What is your business and what do you do for life?
Okay. Well, as you have said, my name is Onkarabile Mokoto, and I'm originally from the Northwest in Mafikeng, and currently lives in Johannesburg. Well, I run a company named Life Shaping Services. It's a company that actually is aiming to help people to succeed in their respective fields and challenging them to unleash their potentials. So we have 4 services that we use. That is book writing coaching, speaking coaching, talent awareness, and financial wisdom. So we help people to actually be an expert, and succeed in those areas of life.
Wait a minute. You spoke of financial wisdom.
Yes.
What is that?
Financial wisdom is actually teaching people about finances. If we look at many people, especially African people, when it comes to the issue of finance, we struggle a lot. We struggle in terms of making money, accumulating money, and also how to use it. Yeah. So I actually help people. That is why I call it financial wisdom. I actually coach people how to create or to accumulate money and how to use it effectively, because it's different to make money and also to use it. You can make money and fail to use it effectively. So I help people when it comes to such.
And there's some other people who money kills them.
Yes.
Especially when you look into soccer stars.
Yes.
They make a lot of money. And most of them, it ends up killing them.
Yes.
Some of them, whenever they retire from their soccer career, they've got nothing.
Some of them, you will hear the stories that, they now stay in back rooms.
Yeah.
They went back home where now during their time, they didn't even develop their homes. They didn't even renovate their homes. Now they have to stay back in the back room, which is very bad.
We fail to realize that you can't perpetually make money all the time. If you're working for the government, if you're a soccer star, there'll be a time when your career will come to an end and you still need money to sustain yourself and live with your family.
Definitely, definitely.
Look, after matric, you thought you'd be a teacher. or you
Yes.
had planned to be a teacher.
Yes.
What is it that derailed that dream?
Well, after matric, like any young person, hungry for success, I enrolled at Wits University to study a Bachelor of Education, which is known as teaching.
Yeah.
And I did study for about 3 years, But unfortunately, during my third year, I dropped out, And the reason why I dropped out is because during my time at university, I was so eager, to serve God, as a child of God, as a born-again Christian. So I devoted myself, my life, into the things of God, to a point where I believed that during my third year, God was actually calling me, to work for Him. And I end up dropping out and wanting to be full-time in ministry, That's how I dropped out. And unfortunately, things did not go well in ministry, even the things of ministry failed. And life was now very hard for me. And then I had to make the means of living, And that's where I end up working as a security guard and just trying to make a living for myself and for my family.
That's a sad reality.
Yeah.
I always talk to pastors who leave their secular job, go into a full-time ministry, saying God has called them. I honestly believe that you are called by God. But I strongly believe the majority of the pastors who are there, who are called by God into a full-time ministry, God did not specifically say, leave your job.
Very true.
Leave your education. Because as a pastor, you need that experience. You need that education.
Yes.
It's so sad.
Yeah, it's so sad. And but I thank God that, what happened because it taught me a lesson.
Yeah.
And it made me an ambassador to say that in future I must teach pastors and advise the future pastors or ministers and say, guys, as you are saying, you need to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You need to start somewhere. And there is a reason why God put you into a certain job or in a certain college or university. God wants you to learn some of the things there. And also you need an income as a person.
You also become an effective witness of Christ within your workplace.
Very true.
But in fact, if you read the Bible well, the Bible did not say we should call people to church. It should say we should go into the world.
Very true.
It says, go ye. But we are saying to the people, come ye.
It's vice versa.
It's vice versa. And look at Paul. He was a tent maker. And yet he wrote 2/3 of the Bible.
And there is somewhere where he even mentioned one of the church, and he says to them, I want you to know that I made my own living.
Yeah.
I was never a burden to anyone. My hands provided everything that I needed.
In other words, your giving does not enrich me, but your giving is a source for your own blessing.
Yes.
So if you give me, you don't give me because I'm in lack. You don't give me because I am poor. But you are giving because you want to tap into my anointing. You want to tap into God's blessing for your own good.
Very true. Very true.
That
so
should be an attitude.
nowadays it's vice versa, as you are saying. Ministers, when they even teach about giving, they actually teach about giving so that they can enrich themselves. Someone is teaching about giving because he's hungry. It's not really teaching about giving based on the word of God or in the right motive, rather.
One pastor talks a lot about tithing, but he himself does not even tithe.
You see?
So strange, so strange. But with all honesty, ministers out there, if God has called you, you don't have to leave your secular job. You can do your secular job and still do ministry, what God has called you to do. And it's only when the ministry has grown so much in such a way that your secular job is suffering or your ministry is suffering, or you can't do both, then you drop your secular job, concentrate on the ministry. But in the beginning, keep both, and you will never regret. You know, as for me, when I started, I was a teacher. Then I moved into business. But when I moved into business, I did not leave my teaching career. I still lived as a teacher. And my teaching career provided food at home.
Yes.
Whilst I was growing my business.
Yes.
I grew my business from the first wimpy to the second wimpy to the third wimpy to the fourth wimpy to the fifth wimpy. Then I resigned as a teacher.
Yes.
Then I concentrated much on business. And the reason why I resigned as a teacher is simply because my students were now suffering in class. Then I realized I can no longer be in business and teach. And then I decided to leave teaching. Then I got a sixth wimpy, I got the seventh wimpy, I moved into filling station, I moved into skincare, I moved into mining, I moved into guest houses, I moved into many, many other businesses, you know. And now there's another transition where I'm moving into ministry. Do I have to drop my businesses?
No.
No. My businesses are the ones which support even this program.
Yes.
I don't even have, you know, if you listen to Marketplace, there's never been a place where we ask for partnership. There's never been a place where we beg for money. Why? Because the businesses in the background, they support the ministry.
Very true.
You know.
Very true.
Anyway, on that note, let's talk about your security guard. How did you end up getting there?
As I've said, that after I dropped out and I went to ministry,
Yes.
when things now did not go well, remember when you're a full-time minister, you depend on the people, you know, to provide for you. So when things did not go well, nowadays there is this church politics, you know. So we had a church politics, you know, in the ministry where we had to part our ways, you know. And now I had to be on my own. And that's why I realized that, actually, the church was the one that was actually providing me. And now I was left alone, you know.
Yeah.
And I had to pay rent, I had to eat, you know. And I mean, I'm grown up. I cannot go home and ask my parents, hey, guys, I'm hungry. I have to make a plan. You know, that's why now one of my friends advised me, said, no, man. Because remember, I did not graduate, you know. So it's very hard for me to get a decent job, if I can put it. So I just had to do anything that comes on the way just for me to eat. So that's why I ended up being a security guard. And yeah, I worked my way up there, and yeah.
But doing what people will view as an odd job, how did you get the strength to write not only 2 books, but 3?
You know, I realized that your situation is not your conclusion. That's what I told myself, that as much as I'm here as a security guard, but that's not where I want to end up.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to use this job as a bridge to achieve what I really want. So I had this desire of spreading knowledge, you know, of passing knowledge to other people. So I said, you know, the best way for me to spread knowledge is through writing a book, you know. And I started writing my first book titled How to Hear God When He Speaks. Because, you know, it took me back. It was actually a personal book because it took me back to, did I hear God very well when I left university? You know,
Because when God says to you, when you call into the ministry, it does not necessarily say leave your education.
Yes. You know, that's now I had to ask myself those questions. And I realized that many people are struggling when it comes to hear the voice of God, you know. So I wanted to provide that information to people, especially Christians, that if you say you are called, make sure that you hear God very well. I remember one lady called me, we used to be at the university together. She asked me, she said, you know, when you left university, how did you hear God? Because I also want to leave. And I said, you know, I said, please don't do that. You know, I think I did not hear God very well. Or I hear God, but I didn't hear him when he said, okay, he called me, as you have said, but the issue of leaving a school, I don't think that was from God. I think that was me. You understand? So I had to advise her not to leave university because of the situation that I went through, you know. So that's how I actually had that strength of saying, you know what, I'm going to do what I dream of doing, irrespective of where I am. And that's where my books came. I read the first book, second one, and third one.
Awesome. So you wrote this book from the experience.
Yes.
And
yes.
this is the experience that you're sharing with people out there.
Yes, especially the second book, Power of Planning, is actually very relevant to my personal, my personal life. Because did I plan when I leave university? No. I never planned of how I was gonna survive. I thought things will just happen magically, not knowing that I still had to plan. What am I going to eat? I'm gonna have a family one day. You cannot trust people. People change every time. If you depend on people, will change every time. So if you don't have your own thing, I'm telling you, you'll struggle.
Baba.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, your job as a butler. You've got so many faces. You try teaching, you move into security, you're now a butler.
Yeah.
You tried pastoring in between.
Yes, yes.
Let's talk.
Well, currently I'm working as a butler in one of the 5-star hotel in Sandton.
Yeah.
A very good job compared to where I was before as a security guard. And this is interesting because, I got hired in the same place that I was a security aide. I was actually a security guard in the same place, in the same hotel that I'm working with. So the management knows what I'm doing. They knows that I'm an author, so they saw the potential in me, And when I applied for a job, I never had any problem because they knew me. I worked there for 2 years as a security guard, and it's only this year, the beginning of this year, 2019, when they now hired me to be a permanent staff for the hotel, So it's a very good job, different industry, where there is more growth, If I'm well developed, if I develop myself, I can go high in the same place where I am now.
Okay. Your story reminds me of Joseph. We normally preach of Joseph as from the pit, am I correct?
Yes, yes.
To
the palace.
The prison?
The prison, yes, from the prison.
And then the palace.
Yes.
And we like to say the triple P. The pit, prison,
and palace.
And palace. What I picked up is that in his dream, there was no pit.
Yeah.
And there was no prison. But there was a palace.
Yeah.
This is a powerful story.
Yeah.
I have learned that if you say your dreams too early or too late, you will end up in a pit and a prison on your way to the palace.
Yeah.
But if you say your dreams on time, you could have moved straight away from his home to the palace.
Yes.
Because the reason why you went through the pit, the Bible is very clear. It says his brothers were jealous.
Yes.
And they were only jealous because he said his dreams too early.
Yeah.
But had he said his dreams on time, they would have understood that this is our Savior.
Yes. Yes.
We don't have to put him in a pit. If we put him in a pit, we are also dead.
We are killing ourselves. Yes.
Although there were some learnings for him in the pit and in the prison, but we don't necessarily have to go through that. These are what I called our self-made. We suffer by our own makings.
Yes.
Okay, Onkarabile, coming back to you. Do you now see yourselves as having attained your very initial dream of teaching? That you go all over the world and speak and do that?
Yes, I can say yes. And the reason why I say this, I remember my mentor, Amanda Baloyi, said to me, you are a life teacher.
Yeah.
You are not actually a school teacher, but you are a life teacher. And I've also realized that I was born to teach, but not necessarily at school, or children. But now my purpose is being revealed, that I'm called to teach people about success. Success, anybody can be successful, because success is based on the principles.
Yeah.
And the reason why many people are failing is because they fail to apply the principles. The principle is, for example, if I need this water, I just need to stretch and
grab
drink.
it. Yeah.
That is the principle.
Yeah.
Until I stretch my hand towards the water, I cannot drink the water. So success is like that. You just need to apply the principles and you will see the result. So, but many people are failing to see that. So, like for example, when I wrote my book, Power of Planning, I observed that 3 kinds of people. Number 1, people who are failing in life. Number 2, people who are failing after succeeding. And number 3, people who are succeeding. And I ask myself, what is the cause of this? And I realize that behind all of this is the power of planning. Those who succeed are those who are planning, and those who fail after succeeding, they are those who don't plan, and those who fail are those who don't plan.
I realize that life is about principle, as you correctly say. If you jump up, you'll always come down.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who you are.
Yes.
You can jump up praying in tongues, having fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, you'll eventually come down.
True.
It is a principle.
True.
And most of the scriptures in the Bible, they work for whosoever. They are not meant for the Christians only.
Yes.
Whosoever.
Yes.
There are some scriptures which are meant specifically for the Christians, like, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves. That is clear, it's for Christians. But seed time and harvest time is for everybody.
Yes.
When it rains for everybody.
Yes.
Whether you are saved and you are not saved. And I eventually realized that the life of Jesus guarantees us salvation. But his principles guarantees us success in this life.
Very true.
In your book, Rule Through Knowledge, you are talking about the mind.
Yes.
Take me through about the mind, because my memory is too short. And I would like to improve my memory.
Yes. All right. One of the reasons why I included the chapter about memory there is because, knowledge is acquired through the mind. Whatever you acquire, it comes to your mind, or rather, yes, it goes through your mind. Now, the thing is, it does not guarantee that what comes to you will stay. It will stay in you. You have to do something for that to stay inside of you. I remember in my book, I mentioned another student that was interviewed at Wits University during my studying. He was a Chinese student, and he got all the A's, from his subject. And he was asked, how did you obtain this? And he said, it's because I remembered everything that I've studied.
Yeah.
And you can ask a learner now, or a student, how is it? How does he feel when he goes to the classroom and he forgets everything?
Yeah.
It's very painful. Now, it means that whatever you have studied or what you know, if you don't remember it, is equals to you don't know it. So I'm trying to encourage people to just to practice or to improve their memory. For example, how can you improve your memory? Number 1, you need to document everything that you acquire.
Yeah.
You need to write down. You are not a computer. You are you're not a computer. So make sure that you document everything that you work. For example, you cannot remember everything, but you can refer everything.
Yeah.
So if you have written something down, you can always go back and refer. But if you forgot it and you have not written anywhere, which it means it is gone. So it's very important to write down whatever you acquire in life, whatever you learn.
And many, many more strategies are in the book.
Yes.
So if people want more, get the book.
Get the book. That's how it is.
In this book, the power of planning. You've got a section on laziness.
Yes.
And I hope people are not going to persecute us. Because once you talk of people being lazy, they tell you that, no, we're not lazy, we're just underpaid. In less than a minute that we have, can you take me through laziness and its impact?
Laziness is one of the enemy of success. I usually say this. Because if you are lazy, it means, I remember the scripture in the book of Proverbs, it is King Solomon, who said, if you are lazy, then poverty will reign in you.
Yeah.
So there is nothing that can be good out of laziness. Laziness is simply not doing what you're supposed to do. That's laziness. If you're supposed to do something and you don't do it, you are lazy. And there's nothing that will come out of that. So our South Africans, our African children must learn to be hard workers. There is nothing that comes by magic. I usually say this. There's nothing that comes by magic. You need to do something. When I'm talking about planning, I'm saying you cannot just plan and expect your plan to happen without you doing anything. You need to put an effort for your plan to be successful. It will not just happen by magic because you have written it down, it's so smooth, or it's a business plan. When you look at it, say, this guy, he has a good idea. It will not just happen because you have written it down, but you need to act, you need to do something for it to happen.
When I wake up, my life sometimes it gets so complicated. And people say I'm a workaholic, but I work. I run several restaurants, 7 of them. I run filling stations. I run lodges. I run skincare. I do mining. I write. I've got my speaking engagements. And I've got Marketplace, which is a big ministry now on a bigger platform, and moving into many, many networks now. And many, many more things. I'm also doing taxis, and I'm also a chairperson of a taxi association. I work very hard. Success does not come to those who are lazy.
No.
As long as you work very hard, there's no way in which you can fail, because you can fail 1,000 times, but you'll always have strength to wake up the following day, rise up, dust yourself, and move on. If people need to get hold of you and get your materials, do you have a number or contact details?
Yes. They can get hold of me on Facebook. I'm actually active on Facebook. Onkarabile Mokoto, and also on Instagram, Onkarabile Mokoto. And my number is 084-841-6104. So they can get hold of me there.
And I am Charles Ngobeni signing off on Marketplace with Charles. You can get hold of me on Instagram, Charles_Ngobeni. You can go on Facebook and like me, follow me. You can also get the repeat of this episode on YouTube, and you can watch it over and over again to be inspired. I am also available on charlesngobeni.com. Well, don't forget to join us on this coming trip to Israel on December 8th. Your life will never be the same again. God bless you. See you next week. Same channel, same time.
Join Marketplace with Charles on an 11-day tour of the Holy Land from the 8th of December 2019. Take the route Israel traveled to the Promised Land, cross over the Red Sea, and float on the Dead Seas, the lowest point on earth with amazing healing properties. Experience the vibe of Jericho and cruise on the Sea of Galilee to Capernaum, the hometown of Jesus. Visit the pools of Bethesda, Nazareth, Bethlehem, and many more. Walk where Jesus walked and see the Bible come alive. If beautiful memories and an enriched spirit is what you are looking for, then join us in taking Jesus to the marketplace. For more information, call us on +27 72 123 0078 or email israel@artofskincare.co.za.